Snow fell in slow, heavy flakes as Marcus and Layla stood outside the small apartment building they had called home for 10 years. Their belongings, 2 duffel bags, a folded stroller, and a box of photo frames lay scattered on the frozen sidewalk. The wind bit through their thin jackets, and their breaths rose in fragile clouds. Behind them, the door slammed shut. "Get off my property," Mr. Grant barked. Rubbing his hands together as if brushing off dirt, he was a tall, sharp-faced landlord with a permanent scowl carved into his cheeks. Can't stay simple, we told you," Layla said softly, holding her coat tight around her body. "My hours were cut this month. Marcus is waiting on his new job to start next week. We always pay." "You know that. I'm not running a charity," Grant snapped. "I gave you 3 extra days. That's more than enough." Marcus clenched his jaw. "Sir, it's Christmas week. There's a storm coming. You can't just throw us out." "Oh, I can." The landlord smirked. "And I did. Maybe next time you people will learn how to manage your money." The emphasis on "you people" hit like a slap. "Please," Layla whispered, her voice cracking. "It's freezing. Just let us stay inside for tonight. I'm begging you. Please." "Not my problem," Grant said. "Figure it out." He walked back inside and shut the blinds as if the sight of them bothered him. Layla sank to the curb, tears sliding down her cheeks. Marcus wrapped an arm around her, his own eyes burning. "We'll get through this. I promise." But deep inside, he wasn't sure how. They were homeless in the middle of a winter storm, because of one man's cruelty. They spent the night in an all-night laundromat, huddled between washing machines for warmth. Layla cried quietly. Marcus kept checking the door, praying no one would kick them out again. By morning, exhaustion clung to them like a second skin. "We need help," Layla murmured. "I know," he said, but their phones had died. Their money was down to a few dollars. Their son Jordan lived across the city, working his new job. One he had begged them to let him reveal on his own time. He didn't even know what happened yet. They bundled their things and stepped into the morning light. Gray, icy, unforgiving. "We'll walk," Marcus said. "We'll figure something out." But only a few blocks later, Layla collapsed into the snow. Marcus dropped beside her, panic exploding through him. "Baby, talk to me." Her lips were pale, her hands shaking. "I can't. Feel my legs." She was going into hypothermia. With trembling hands, Marcus banged on the nearest house. Praying someone kind lived inside. The door swung open, and his heart dropped. It was their landlord. Well, Grant said, crossing his arms. "Still trespassing in my neighborhood. My wife needs help," Marcus gasped. "Please, call an ambulance." Grant looked at her, shivering, barely conscious, then shrugged. "Not my responsibility." Before Marcus could speak, the landlord slammed the door again. Marcus screamed in frustration, scooping his wife into his arms as snow swirled around them. Minutes later, a black SUV screeched to a stop beside them. The door flew open. "Dad." Oh my God, it was their son. Jordan ran out, dropping to his knees beside Layla. "Mom, stay with me, okay?" "Dad, put her in the car now." Marcus stared in shock. "How did you—" "I called last night. When you didn't answer, I tracked your phone location." Tears blurred Marcus's vision as he lifted Layla into the back seat. They sped to the hospital, sirens wailing behind them as Jordan flashed. Something at the responding officers to get an escort through traffic, a badge. What job did you get?" Marcus whispered, stunned. Jordan exhaled shakily. "I was waiting to tell you in person. I passed the bar. I'm a judge now. One of the youngest appointed in the district." The world slowed. Marcus's mouth opened in disbelief. "A judge?" Jordan looked at his parents, cold, exhausted, broken, and his jaw tightened. "Tell me everything that happened." By the time Layla was stable, Jordan had taken detailed notes, photographed injuries, and spoken to the police. "There's more than enough for a case," he told his father quietly. "Illegal eviction, harassment, endangerment, discrimination, and leaving Mom outside in dangerous conditions. Dad, he could have killed her." Marcus swallowed hard. "You're sure you want to do this?" "I'm not just doing it," Jordan said. "I'm handling it." 2 weeks later, they entered the courtroom. Layla walked slowly but proudly, her arm linked with Marcus's across the room. Landlord Grant sat nervously at the defendant's table, flipping through a stack of papers with trembling hands. I don't even know why I'm here. I didn't do anything wrong," he stuttered. The bailiff stood tall. "All rise for the Honorable Judge Jordan Brooks." The courtroom rose. Grant did too, and then nearly collapsed when he saw who walked in. Jordan, their son. The same young man he had laughed at in the hallway last year. The same man whose mother he left freezing on the sidewalk. Grant's jaw dropped open, eyes wide as if seeing a ghost. This can't be," he sputtered. Jordan took his seat at the bench. "But cold. Be seated." Grant's voice shook. "Your Honor, surely there's a mistake. You can't handle this case. You know them." Jordan adjusted his glasses. "Correct." Grant exhaled in relief. "Which is why," Jordan continued, "I have already transferred oversight of the verdict to a senior judge, but I will preside over the fact-finding and testimony phase, as permitted." Grant paled. No, please." Jordan looked at him not as the young boy he once was, but as a man who had seen his parents treated as disposable. "Mr. Grant," he began, his voice steady and powerful, You illegally evicted my parents with no notice. You mocked them. You left them in sub-zero temperatures. You refused to call for help when my mother was collapsing outside your door. Grant swallowed hard. I didn't know you knew enough to choose cruelty, Jordan said sharply. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Minutes turned into hours as evidence mounted. Jordan kept his composure, but the weight of every moment pressed behind his eyes. Finally, the senior judge entered to deliver the ruling. Mr. Grant, she declared, your actions were reckless, discriminatory, and in direct violation of multiple housing laws. You will pay substantial damages, lose all rental licenses for 5 years, and face criminal charges for endangerment. Grant covered his face. Shaking. Court adjourned. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Cameras flashed. Microphones pointed. Judge Jordan, how does it feel handing justice to the man who harmed your parents? He stood tall, his parents beside him. My parents taught me 2 things, he said. Fight for what's right, and never let bitterness win. Today wasn't about revenge. It was about justice, the kind everyone deserves, no matter their color, status, or bank account. He turned to his mother and father, pulling them into a hug. You're safe now, he whispered. You'll never be without a home again. Not while I'm alive. Layla cried into his shoulder. Marcus closed his eyes, thanking God for a son who grew up to be the shield they never had. Moral of the story: true power isn't in wealth or authority, it's in choosing justice over cruelty, compassion over ego, and courage over silence. Even when the world tries to break you, standing together can turn tragedy into triumph.